everyone! Today we would like to present our comparative analysis of two short stories from different cultural backgrounds. The stories are Sepotong Senja untuk Pacarku from Indonesia and The Story of an Hour from the United States. In this presentation, we will discuss several aspects such as cultural values, major themes, universal values, and also how these stories relate to the concept of world literature or world literature. For introduction, this presentation compares two short stories from different cultural backgrounds, Indonesia and the United States. Although they emerge from distinct historical and social contexts, both stories explore the idea of freedom and restrictions. And then, cultural values in Indonesia. Sepotong Senja untuk Pacarku reflects Indonesia's socio-political conditions, particularly in times when freedom of expression was limited. In the story, the cultural background is closely related to socio-political conditions in Indonesia. The symbol of Senja or evening represents beauty, hope, and freedom, but something that cannot be fully possessed. Through the symbol, the author indirectly criticizes systems that limit freedom of expression and personal happiness. And then, for cultural values in United States, the story of an hour reflects 19th century American society, especially the institution of marriage under patriarchal norms. So in the story, the cultural context is related to gender roles in the 19th century. At the time, women were expected to focus on their roles as wives and had limited independence. Mr. Marat's emotional reactions show that she secretly experienced a feeling of freedom, which suggests the marriage can also function as a form of restrictions for women. And then, comparison of cultural values. Both stories show societies that limit individual freedom, but the source of restrictions differs. So, if we compare the two stories, both of them show limitations on individual freedom. However, the source of the restrictions is different. In the Indonesian story, the restrictions mainly come from socio-political system. Meanwhile, in the American story, the restrictions comes from gender roles within marriage. And next will be explained by Suchi.
Okay, next I want to explain the major themes. In this slide, I explain the major themes in both stories. First, freedom versus restriction. Both protagonists want freedom, but their lives are limited by social or personal restrictions. Second, emotional awakening, where each character realizes their true feelings and situations, and then third, identity and selfhood, which questions um, whether people can define themselves within restrictive systems. And finally, irony and tragedy, because freedom appears briefly but does not fully last. Okay, and next, universal values. Although the stories come from different cultures, they share universal human values. Both stories show the desire for independence and the search for personal identity. The characters also experience emotional conflict between love and personal freedom. They also show the pain of restricted freedom, because These themes, readers from different cultures can understand and relate to the stories. And next, in relation to world literature. Okay, this slide explains the relation to the concept of world literature introduced by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He believed literature should go beyond national borders and connect people from different countries. These stories are rooted in their in their local cultures, but they express universal themes such as freedom and identity. Therefore, readers from different cultures can emotionally connect with them, making these works part of world literature. Okay, in conclusion, both about stories explore restriction and the longing for freedom within different cultural frameworks, while one reflects sociopolitical limitation and the other reflects gender-based confinement but express universal human struggles because they combine cultural specificity with universal meaning. They align with the concept of well